Welcome to Tech Abilities, produced live in the Blindabilities studio. I want to thank all of you for listening and for sending in your feedback. It's well appreciated. And if you want to send us some feedback, give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave a message. We'd love to hear from you. Or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the tech tidbits and news that we cover in this episode. And you can use chapters. If your podcast player of choice has the chapters feature, go ahead, nibble away at this episode or take it all in one big meal. That's the way it was designed. And chapters work good, and we love to make that feature available. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
But I only want the pros, so I'm spoiled now.
Thumbs up so far. The setup was easy peasy.
Now, for all the people who are mic shy, Clubhouse, they just added text-based to their app.
Always. I aim to please.
And my gosh.
There's a Facebook group called Meme, like M-E-M-E, Jokes for Blind Folks.
Here's how the new voice sounds.
Uncle Funky's daughter.
Oh, I don't know.
It's so hard as a blind person with how much audio described content they have.
Huh. How's that going for you?
We'll go on there and order something for $6. Push it through.
See, I won't do that. I'm just like not that person.
It's like 2,000 people eating out of the same popcorn bowl.
Are you going, Jeff?
Is it too early? I don't know. Live from the Blindability studio, I'm Jeff Thompson from friendly Minnesota, enjoying a nice start to another podcast, a Tech Abilities podcast. And with me in the studio, Serina Gilbert. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Hi.
I'm enjoying my meteorological spring weather today.
Meteorological.
So March 1st is the start of the meteorological first day of spring. So that's what I'm going with because I'm tired of winter.
You're up near 70 degrees.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Oh, let's head on down to Miami where we have Callie Gray.
It's like 105,
Hi, everybody. Yeah, this is Callie in Miami where it is spring year round.
Except for when it's summer and it's Hades.
Yeah.
There's that. New event just dropped. It's going to start on March 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that is the Peak Performance event by Apple. What's really interesting is the word peak. They're using P-E-E-K. Whereas if they would have used P-E-A-K, we would have looked at something like max performance. But with peak performance, that's like we're going to take a glance. We're going to look into the future at the performance. Not much coming up. Is this just a tease, Mr. Cook? What do you think?
You built that up way bigger than I had in my head.
Me too, because what I saw from the email, it says like an iPhone SE and a Mac Mini. Those were the only two things that I saw. But I saw the link that you sent out regarding the AR, but I don't have any vision, so it was all lost on me. So you have to go into detail about what that was.
Well, you can click on it to learn more, and then they have an AR thing, and what it does is it opens up a camera and puts a psychedelic type of Apple figurine, their label. It's kind of three-dimensional in a sense, or neon. I was told. Now, I couldn't make it out really. And if you walk around your room, as you come up like 180 degrees or 90 degrees from it, it'll get paper thin. And as you walk around the other way, it's like it's there. It doesn't go 360. You can't walk around the back side of it, but it's just kind of neat for people who can see. There you go. Thanks, Apple.
Jerks.
But that's what AR is all about.
Where's the audio description?
Yeah. Jeff is walking around his room and looking weird as everyone else in the house is looking at him going, what is he doing? I guess there's going to be some AR involved here. I heard 600 different rumors. Everyone can rumor all they want, and we don't do that on Tech Abilities, do we?
Never, of course not.
But rumor has it there might be a iMac Pro, which is the step up from the iMac. Or a Mac Pro 24-inch, or this, or that, or this, or that. I don't know. All I'm really worried about is the AirPod Pros 2.
I was thinking the same thing. That's all that I want is a new set of AirPods. But I only want the pros. I'm spoiled now. I don't care about the regular ones anymore.
March 8th, they got the big event, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that's 8 a.m. if you're in Hawaii.
I think, no, it's like
Alaska.
Hawaii time's way different.
Yeah.
Aleutian Islands. But it's 11 Mountain, 12 noon Central Time. I could go all the way around the world. Well, let's stop at New York and 1 o'clock in New York. So
No, 1 o'clock Miami.
Yes, 1 o'clock for me. I'll be on a paratransit bus. Oh, no, I won't. I'll be in my orientation and mobility class at that time.
there you go.
So I will have to listen to it once I get home. The only thing I'm hoping for is a new MacBook Air, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a part of the plan because the current MacBook Air I currently have is an i3 processor and it's very slow.
But there is a new device that you did get, and I was excited to hear about it. You got the iPad Mini.
I did. It's the 6th gen iPad mini.
Thumbs up?
Thumbs up so far. The setup was easy peasy. I basically transferred over from my iPhone, so it mirrors my iPhone. But the one thing it didn't do, and I had to sit there and do it all over again, it didn't put all of my apps into file folders. So I had to sit there and do that because it drove me crazy having my apps spread all over like 4 different screens. So now I'm just like at 2 screens. And the other thing,
different screens. Serina and I got about 12.
And the other thing that I didn't like, well, I had to get used to because the iPad mini, there's like a dual keyboard set up. And I had to like turn that off because it just really threw me off. So there would be 2 keyboards at the bottom. And I would be typing. I'm like, why is
the split keyboards?
Yeah, the split keyboard. Like, why is the A over here? I was just so confused. And then I did a little digging and I turned off the split keyboard. And another thing that bothered me was that what is the page called, Jeff? Not the home screen, but that screen before the home screen.
Yeah, it's the Today view.
Yep. It had like all of these widgets on it, and I am not a widget person. And so I didn't know what was going on with that front page because I didn't want all of these widgets. So I just deleted them. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to affect anything. I'll find out after I delete them, but I deleted all of these widgets in order to set it up the way that I am used to because widgets are something that I do not use. And one other thing, and this is going to be the last thing I noticed about the iPad, there is no native weather app for the iPad mini. And I thought there was only because on that widgets page, it told me what the temperature was in Miami. But when I looked for the weather app, there isn't one. And after I did a Google search, it said, yep, the weather app and the calculator are not on the iPad minis and they've never been a part of that. So I learned something new. All in all, I really enjoy it because I enjoy it listening to my streaming programs on HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, sits by the bedside table, and I like that I can stream with my AirPods in my ear, which I cannot do with my television in the bedroom. That's my main use case for it, is for streaming.
Yeah, I always wondered about the use case for it because I have an iPad mini. I got the 5th gen and I use it once in a while. And like you said, I use it for like TV stuff or streaming stuff. And that's basically all I end up using it for. I do have Apple TV and I have my phone by my bedside. So right away, I'm like excited. I'm going to do this and I don't use them.
Well, I will make it perfectly clear. I did not need this item. I'm going to make that perfectly clear. It's just something that I wanted. I did not need it. And yes, I could stream and listen to HBO Max and Netflix with my iPhone by the bed. But sometimes I will set the iPad mini in bed with me and I'll have like glow of the light, so it's just something that's there. But like I said, it's nothing that I needed. It's something that I wanted. And to be fully honest, transparent here, for the full 2 weeks that I had the opportunity to return it, there was not a day that went by where I didn't think about returning it because I'm like, I don't know if I need this, what's going to be my use case for it. So full disclosure, but then, day 15 came and you can't return it.
Stereo speakers?
Yes, the sound is fantastic. Yeah, I do like it. And it moves around with me. Sometimes I'll put it in the kitchen and I'll set it up because I bought a little folio case with it where it can sit upright like it's a television or something like that. And I'll listen to podcasts, streaming, music or anything like that. So I am making use out of it since I now own it.
Does the MagSafe charger work on that too?
I don't.
Or would it?
No, I honestly don't know. I have a dual MagSafe charger that sits by my bedside, but I honestly don't know. I haven't tried it.
Never thought of. Then again, I think an iPad mini is not like your phone where you're traveling, transporting, and going all over the world with it and worried about your battery life. I think
Yeah.
My mini stays at home and I can always charge it while I'm doing what I'm doing with it.
Yeah, I don't see any use case where I would take this on the road with me unless I were like going to a family or friend's house where I was going to stay for an extended period of time and I had access to their Wi-Fi, because I did not get the 3G enabled one. This is just purely Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Last time we were talking about Siri Voice number 3, and it comes out that they finally told everybody that Siri Voice 2 and 3 were voiced by African Americans. And
Tech Abilities broke the news.
Yes, we knew that. Serena and I
We knew
called
it.
that one.
And they also came out on the beta right now. They call it Quinn. It's Siri Voice number 5, but I heard it called Quinn. And it's a orientation neutral voice.
Serena, this article confirms that voice 2 and 3 are indeed African American. Siri gives a voice to the LGBTQ plus community in iOS 15.4. When iOS 15.4 lands on your iPhone in a few weeks, there will be a load of new features to sift through. Face ID with a mask, tap to pay, new emoji, and universal control on the iPad. But there will be one smaller change that's just as meaningful, a new Siri voice. Released as part of the 4th iOS 15.4 beta, the new voice is simply labeled America, Voice 5. But when you listen to it, you'll notice that it's somewhat androgynous and difficult to pin down as explicitly male or female. As part of its continued push for diversity, Apple told Axios that it hired a member of the LGBTQ plus community to record the new Siri voice. Here's how the new voice sounds. It's not clear whether the new American voice will come to the other language varieties as well.
So, do you remember on Saturday Night Live when they had Pat on there?
I do.
And they didn't know if it was a boy or a girl.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of a funny skit that they had. And when I play this Siri voice, it's hard to place. They did a good job of it. So they reached out to the LGBTQ community and had someone voice it. And it's Siri Voice number 5. Like you guys told me before, and I never do it either. I don't use Siri voices for all my stuff because I think it's good for short notices. The time is this, or yes, it's still freezing in Minnesota, Jeff. Stuff like that comes across fine. But when you get into a paragraph,
It's so choppy.
none of them do well.
Yeah, it's not good for voiceover, I find.
I think they developed Siri to be that short incremental type of thing and stopped because Siri hasn't improved since then. I mean, I still try. I mean, when I ask Siri to find my phone when it's in my house, today the bed got made and it got folded up in the sheets. And I'm sitting here thinking, where is it? You know, I went and looked 17 times and then all of a sudden I hear this voice and I walk over to my nightstand and all of a sudden I turn my head towards the pillows and it's like, it's not under the pillow. Where is it? So it's just kind of funny. That's how I use Siri mostly, is just to find stuff and not really much else.
I know Siri's limitations, and my husband just can't accept it. He'll be like, well, I forgot what we were watching The Gilded Age. There was a scene where somebody got $100 and we're like, how much is that now? So he's like, let's just ask Siri. And I was like, she's not going to know that. Not in the HomePod. On your phone, maybe, but definitely not on the HomePod. And sure enough, it was like, I can't answer that on the HomePod. Ask me again from your phone. I'm like, told you. Which, for the record, if anyone's wondering, $100 is about $2,300 in today's money from 1882 to now.
Nice. Making it rain in 1882.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, Jeff, because I know you watched The Gilded Age, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you get to it.
I learned something new on Tech Abilities. That's great.
Always. I aim to please.
We talked about the AirTags and how people were using it in bad ways, mischievous ways, illegal fill-ins. And now AirTag is actually on this new update. The betas have it right now. It's going to give you a warning when you set up your AirTags. It's going to say, do not use this for bad stuff.
Yes.
Because that'll stop.
Correct.
Yeah. It's like that tag on your mattress,
Don't remove.
Penalty of law,
Yeah. Well, I always wondered why that says that.
The nice thing in the Find My, at least all the information is sent end-to-end encryption. There's a serial number too, so it is traceable for police type of work. I think they've done as good a job as they can to use this stuff, and I hope Trekker and all them do as well to do this. But no matter what there is, like we said before, people will find ways to do stuff,
Yes, and if the person is buying it for the particular purpose of doing something nefarious, they're going to find a way to do it. Isn't there protection, though, for someone who can tell if an AirTag is with them that's not supposed to be with them? Isn't that supposed to be in the beta, too, in the new update?
I think it plays a sound or something, doesn't it?
Well, beyond giving the warning that it's a crime to stalk people and to use these nefariously, they're also introducing a feature called precision finding, which will point iPhone users to unknown AirTags when they're nearby. And I also believe that they've done this with Android too, giving them the opportunity to detect unwanted AirTags. So let me throw this out there. If you borrow someone's car, not either of us, but if someone borrows someone's car and on the keychain is an AirTag, how long would it take for you to be driving down the road and to get a warning that there's a unknown AirTag in your premises? That's the innocence of it, but also someone that wants to stalk someone for 2, 3, 4 miles, would they get that signal soon enough?
Mm-hmm. It's just a new technology and people will find ways to do what they want with it. And for years, for decades, there have always been higher priced spy material for people who actually want to do this. So this is just a cheaper way to go about it. And people who want to will. I just think it's important for Apple to release the tools for people who don't want to be tracked to know if they are being tracked, if there's an unwanted AirTag in my purse, in my pocket or something like that, that I can know about it.
I mean, technically, you could just throw an old iPhone in the back seat of a car, stuff it down in there, leave it on, and find my phone.
That would die eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Dang it.
Whereas the AirTags are good for, 2 years?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. There's that point. I'll have to get my old iPhone back then.
Oh, goodness gracious, Jeff.
No. Like when your kids are first driving, you want to have them turn on their phone and have Find My and stuff like that. There are some great advantages to having stuff like this, especially for kids and everything. And you want that little bit, like if they're going to go, we're going to Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, that's a long ways, blah, blah, blah. Where it's not, where I did it as a kid and never told anybody, but nowadays it's like you want some type of attachment or something.
That just reminds me, because there was a meme the other day, and it was in if you ever want to get access to lots of accessible memes, there's a Facebook group called Meme, like MEME, Jokes for Blind Folks. And there was one that was like, when we were kids, our parents thought we were just riding around the neighborhood for 8 hours, but really we crossed a highway, jumped a fence, started a random fire, and then came home. I sent it to my husband. He was like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, that was so true. Back in my day in upstate New York, we would ride our bikes and we'd go to a construction site. And beyond the construction site were these railroad tracks. And we would just hop the freight train and just travel for a few miles. And then
oh my goodness, Callie.
We did the same thing.
And then, we'd walk back home. It was just like, it was just fun. We just did all kinds of things,
Well, here in friendly Minnesota, we got Burlington Northern, the Santa Fe. That runs here. Mr. Buffett owns it. We would catch it going in towards town. So if it was going south, it was always slowing down. So you could jump on it, go 2 miles, and when the train goes by, you go to the arcade and play pinball for,
oh my
75
goodness.
cents for, blah, blah, blah. But on the way back, the trains speed up. So you got to be cognizant of that. You don't get too comfortable because if it speeds up. But then there's a trestle. So you got to, if it speeds up before the trestle, you got to jump before the trestle. Yeah.
Good times, man.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
we'd be gone all day. I mean, I know nowadays, Serina, there's no way Trey is out of your sight for that, but Saturday morning, we'd get up, we'd watch some cartoons, eat our cereal and head out. And, we only had to be back by the time the lights came on. And that was like the only,
they don't even care if we ate or anything.
That was like the only rule. That was the only rule, just had to be back
before the street lights come on. Or if it started raining.
We didn't care. Didn't care.
I make Trey check in every hour with me.
We were out of the house and we had no iPhones, Serina. We were just like gone.
Nobody knew where we were. Yeah, I remember. We would play, and what is, thinking back, like this thing under the street that was designed for if it flooded, the water would kind of go
the
through
manhole.
Like, thinking back.
Manhole covers.
Not the no, but it was like a tunnel. No, like a tunnel.
A culvert. Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure there were rats and all kinds of disgusting things down there. We didn't care.
Oh, yeah. But what people should care about is, are they holding their iPhone correctly?
I think I sent this to you guys a couple weeks ago.
And there's a new thing called the smartphone pinky, where you're supposed to take the base of the phone and set it on your pinky and then lean it back into your hand and then take your other hand and weave your fingers, interlock them a little bit, and then you can thumb type. that way.
Or just get a pop socket and it'll be way easier. Like,
So what was the point?
they're saying it causes damage to your tendons because of all the weight. Your pinky is not designed to hold that much weight. After I read that, I actually went to Charles while he was texting and I was like, how do you hold your phone? So I looked and I was like, oh, you hold it wrong too.
No, not Chucky
Like,
too.
It's really just
Chucky.
I'm guessing it's the equivalent of like carpal tunnel, but for your pinky.
Does he hide now when he's doing his phone so you don't make him feel bad?
No, not at all. But I already forgot about that. Actually, that's what's funny.
Maybe if they name that last finger a stronger name rather than pinky. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could
Pinky,
build up and be strong.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
And Clubhouse, they just added text-based to their app. Now, for all the people who are mic shy, like us, we're mic shy, well, kind of.
Oh, totally.
What do you think about that, Callie?
I think it's wonderful for those who don't feel comfortable using their voice in that public setting. I think it's a win-win for everybody all around where people still have a voice, but in a text-based version. I don't have any problem voicing my voice when I'm on Clubhouse, which I really only go on for Freedom Scientific webinars and stuff like that.
There's 1 or 2 a week of those, yeah.
Yeah. And they have really helped me with learning JAWS because I'm just having all kinds of issues. But Freedom Scientific, the webinars they have twice a week are definitely very helpful. And I always raise my hand to ask a question. But for those who are too shy and don't want their voice heard, this is another way that you can ask a question and to have a voice. I think it's a great feature.
Another great thing that came out is Amazon's price increase. Isn't that great?
No.
Timely right now, isn't it? Just.
And I think I am probably going to be the only person who won't be renewing their Prime membership. I mean, I may go on a month-to-month basis later in the year when the Lord of the Rings, the Power of the Rings comes out because I'm a Lord of the Rings geek and I would like to see that. But I think at this point, I'm going to treat Amazon Prime like I do any other streaming service where I will go in and out of the service depending upon what it is I want to watch and if there's anything on that service that I want to watch. And Lord of the Rings, The Power of the Rings is something I want to watch.
9 for mortal men, doomed to die. 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne. In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie.
And I wouldn't mind paying for Prime for the 2 or 3 months, whatever it's going to be, however long those shows will be dropping to see it. But I'm not a strong Prime user. I know a lot of people have Amazon boxes delivered to their homes on like a daily basis, at least. Sometimes.
I feel like you're looking west.
No. Not looking towards you, Serina.
I
but
felt that too, Serina.
No, I do really.
Yeah, I felt that shape. But it's funny, Kelly, that you say that. So we will always keep our Prime membership because it's just, we have the Prime credit card and you get 5% back on everything you purchase and it helps a ton. It's really funny because when we do a kind of a larger order, and I don't know if you do the same thing, Jeff, it'll ask you would you like to have less deliveries and have everything come on one day? And I am so mean. I'm like, no, I'm going to make you work for this membership.
I want that shampoo on Monday. I want the other stuff on Tuesday.
Yep.
And then
I don't care.
Chuck's out back crushing down box after box after box.
Yes. Yep. You should just see us at Christmas time. It's ridiculous.
Oh my
Does
God.
Trey popping those air pocket things?
He does. He gets mad if we pop them without him.
Oh, wow. I would too. Yeah.
Do you do the same thing though, Jeff? When you order stuff?
I want it as soon as possible.
Yep,
It gives you that option. It's already checked that it'll be here tomorrow. But if you pay, you go onto some other sites like Sweetwater or something like that. But if you pay $11, it'll be there tomorrow. Wait, but for free, it'll be here tomorrow. Or if you pay $36, it'll be here tomorrow. It's like, wait a second.
But is it really free? I mean, you're paying $139 a year. So in my mind, it is not free.
But
and I
$11
believe
a
that.
month.
And that includes the Prime Video stuff.
But I also believe that if you order X amount of dollars on Amazon, it ships for free, just like most services, shopping services.
It's the slow shipping. I got to be honest, we'll go on there and order something for $6, push it through.
See, I won't do that. I'm just like not that person. That's why I say it's going to be easier for me to let go of Prime because I just don't use it like that. And if it comes the next day, great. But if it comes, 3 or 4 days, I'm like,
and I have zero patience.
I don't care. It's not like groceries, like Instacart. If I were to order Instacart and they said, yeah, your groceries will be here in 3, that'd be a problem. With Instacart, I want my stuff here, within the 2-hour time frame. So it's just totally different use cases, for me. So I'm fine with it. And like I said, I know that I am in the minority when it comes to this. I know that I am in the minority.
Oh, no, I really think you're not in the minority here because right now people reconsider, it's going to remind them to check when their subscription is up and they'll reconsider it. So anytime people have something to think about like there when they gave it to them to think about, I think there'll be a shakeup. I really do.
It's funny that you say that because Netflix just announced a price hike and that one, I think it's going to be like, $17.99, I believe is what it's going up to per month. That one, Charles seriously was like, do you want to cancel Netflix now? And it's so hard as a blind person with how much audio described content they have, whether it's quality shows or not. It's so hard to give up that one because of how many hours there are to just mindlessly watch on it. But it's just as expensive as like the Disney bundle where you get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus for like $19.99, and that's the commercial free one. But for $17.99 just for Netflix, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it is. And that's why when that discussion comes up, they force the discussion by raising the price. So then you have to have that conversation. And Lori would love to cut the cable.
So would I. It's hard to do.
I hear people that cut the cable, like Callie, I know you cut it, but you already had Netflix, but you've added 2 more. I know people that have cut the cable and added like 6 different things. And it's like, wait a second. That's $8, $12, $12, $8, they're up to $50, $60 again. It's like, huh. How's that going for you?
And we're the opposite. We still have the cable and have the only thing we don't subscribe to right now is Peacock. The reason we haven't cut it is because the audio described content doesn't reliably get passed through to Hulu right now. Like the ABC content's pretty reliable, but the Fox stuff's not, the NBC stuff's not. And there's stuff that we watch. Who knows? This next summer, we watch less and less network TV every year. It just somehow happens. So, and then the sports thing is what trips you up too, the live sports.
Oh, every time Outlander comes out with a new book, we get stars. So Lori can watch Outlander for the series,
And that one doesn't have audio description.
She reads the book. So then
okay,
tying the two together, you don't really need, I'm not saying you don't need audio description, but if you've read the book and then you watch it, and she's done all the books so far. So I'm not going to save any money by not getting stars. I'll have trouble. She likes it for that.
Yeah.
Well, as somebody here who's on a limited income, I have to count my pennies very carefully here. And, paying for the internet and the 2 services that I have, HBO Max and Hulu, still does not come close to what I was paying when I had cable. Yeah. And that was having cable without HBO. Cable without HBO on 2 televisions with the 2 boxes was like $196 and some change.
That's how much our DirecTV is. It's expensive.
That just didn't make any sense to me. I feel like I'm not missing out on anything with the services that I do have. Like Netflix, I don't count because when I had cable television, I still subscribe to Netflix because Netflix just had its own content over there that I would go to outside of cable. So I can see myself always keeping Netflix, but Hulu, HBO Max I'll probably keep forever too because I'm really enjoying a lot of stuff on HBO Max. Hulu, I could see myself going out of and going back to Disney when The Mandalorian returns or something like that. Generally, if something new comes in, something old has to go away as far as for my budgeting purposes. Like I say, I'm on a fixed income and I just have to watch it, and I use SiriusXM for news content from MSNBC, CNN, and I listen to the Super Bowl on SiriusXM and U2X radio, of course, which is but it's basically on 24/7. But that's like it for me. And I'm perfectly happy with it. Like I say, I sit here today in March and I say that I'm going to get rid of Amazon, and we're going to see how that goes. You guys will check in with me, in 6 months or so and see how that's working out for me. And I will honestly let you know how it is working out.
I just like to know that I probably took down a small forest of cardboard so far, because sometimes I'm out there. Well, I got something from IKEA too, and my gosh, it seems like they pack that stuff really nice, but there's piece after piece after piece of the cardboard, just oh, that stuff just adds up, and you're shoving it in there, and it's like, oh my gosh, when's recycling come, And then something else comes in. It's like, oh, I don't know.
I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one that's like, no, you're going to bring me everything on the day.
Oh, no. I like that too. I can't. I even stopped shopping at Amazon a couple times because they say like March 12th. What?
Yeah. And it's like March 3rd. And I'm like, what the heck?
So I go to Sweetwater and they do musical instruments, musical gear and stuff like that. And it'll be here in 2 days. It's like purchase. I don't even know their return policy. I don't even know any of that. It's all about the difference between 4 days. I ain't waiting that long. I'll forget I bought it.
I also think you need to recognize a lot. Like I purchase hair. There's a hair care product I like to use called Uncle Funky's Daughter.
I'm looking that
and
up.
I buy it from Amazon only because my credit card is safely stored on Amazon. And I'm just one of those people who don't want my credit card everywhere. But when I order my hair care products from Uncle Funky's Daughter on Amazon, it actually sold to me by Uncle Funky's Daughter store. And I have to pay a shipping fee, even though I am a Prime member, because it's not coming from Amazon. It is coming directly from Uncle Funky's Daughter. And I'm just using the Amazon portal as a way to purchase it. So I just think, so I'm not going to save any money. I'm not going to be in any worse off position if I cancel my Amazon subscription when I need to order Uncle Funky's Daughter hair care products. I just have to go to the Uncle Funky's website and do it there. Being
a Prime member makes it where like when you see something that says it's going to have shipping, you're like, not buying that there. Like that's like, I'm serious. Like especially at Christmas time when it's like, oh, this will be here. Oh, it says $8 shipping. Nope, not buying that. Like, it's just, I'm serious because you're paying for Prime. Like
Yeah, I'm on the Uncle Funky Daughters page. They got Curly Magic. They got Super Curly.
Yes, that's my gel.
We hear him typing.
Extra butter. Oh, yeah. I just had to look it up. It's like, who would come up with a name like that?
Well, there's another product that's similar to that called Aunt Jackie's stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Aunt Jackie's. Yeah.
What was that one you had for the popcorn? It starts with a G from Colorado. Garrett's.
You have all kinds of family members stuff.
I'm on their newsletter now.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, they just had a special, but it was like buffalo wing popcorn, and I'm like,
ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I saw that one. I'm like, I don't know about that. I go with what I know.
They say it's popular.
No, it is popular, but I just stick with what I know, and what I like is the cheddar cheese and caramel mix. I just stick with what I know. I'm old, Jeff, and it's hard for me to change anything about
I was looking for gift certificates from there or something where you could buy something, and send it to someone, and so they can order what they want, and they don't have anything like that on there.
They don't have gift cards?
You can
Really?
Yeah, no, you can go on there and you can cash a gift card on there, use it, but you can't buy it from the website.
There must be a way if they have a spot to put a gift card in.
Yeah, you can put one in, but I couldn't find the buy,
That's really weird.
But then again, I'm not very good with accessibility or anything. No, I dug deep. I went way in.
Went to the sitemap.
Jeff, you could just send me the gift card, just so you know. You don't have to buy the caramel and cheddar cheese and ship it to me. You can give me the gift card and I'll do it myself. Hint, hint. Just,
Mm-hmm. No, it was just neat. I went to the site, and it's really neat how many different types of popcorns they have or packages they have. And they're just so friendly. And I guess there's more sites than just in Chicago, too.
Oh, I was not aware of that. Hopefully they are the legit Garrett's popcorn, because the legit one I know is in Chicago. I mean, people who travel to Chicago for vacation stop by Garrett's to get their popcorn. And I think they were one of Oprah's favorite things one year, a couple of decades ago or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Oprah mentions blind abilities, we'll blow up the server.
Your
Yeah, can
t-shirts
you
will be
imagine?
everywhere.
Really?
But you know what? Uber, I remember we talked about this off the podcast, and it was about you could now check to see what the Uber drivers, how they rated you. And Callie, I heard you dug in and checked it out.
Yeah, and like Serina had said in the thread, you have to go deep. You have to go into privacy and then go down to these other settings.
You can access all your driver and rider breakdowns by logging into your Uber app. Open Uber.
Uber.
Go to menu in the upper right-hand corner.
Uber. Menu. Button.
Single finger double tap. And then go down to settings.
Settings. Button.
Single finger double tap. Swipe down to privacy.
Privacy. Manage the data you share with us. Button.
And single finger double tap. And then single finger tap on Privacy Center.
Privacy Center. Take control of your privacy and learn how we protect it. Button.
Then swipe to the right until you get to, would you like to see a summary of how you use Uber?
Would you like to see a summary of how you use Uber? See summary. Link.
And single finger double tap. Now on this page, there's some interesting statistics. I'm going to scroll down and let you hear a few of them.
Thanks for being with us for 1797 days. We've taken 296 trips together. You've chosen UberX for 10 out of the last 10 rides. You've earned a rider rating of 4.97. You've ordered with Uber Eats 0 times. Browse your data. Heading level 2. Trips. Heading level 3. Your trip data includes information about trips you took with Uber. This data includes times, locations, types of service, and prices. View my trips. Link. Ratings. Heading level 3. Your ratings data includes information about ratings you've received as a rider from drivers, such as a breakdown of your average rating. View my ratings. Link.
And single finger double tap. And let's take a listen.
The data here does not reflect your ratings in real time. Please note, ratings are optional. Not everyone will give you a rating. Rider ratings. 4.97.
From here, you can scroll on down and you'll see a chart. It reads down the column, so you'll see 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. However, VoiceOver does not like this too well. You might hear
Image.
So I just touched with my finger down in this area and got the VoiceOver focus going.
Rider ratings. 4.97. 5 stars.
And once I get to the stars, once again, I can start swiping.
4 stars. 3 stars. 2 stars. 1 stars.
And on my next swipe, the cursor will wrap around and start at the top of the list, like at the 5-star, 4-star, 3, and so on, and tell me the numbers received for each, starting with the 5 stars.
272. 2. 0. 1. 1.
And if you swipe back up a little bit, you'll see that you can switch from the driver's ratings of you,
Rider ratings, current page, visited, blank,
to the ratings you give in the drivers.
Driver ratings, blank.
Now, I don't know why this is not showing up for me because I have given ratings for drivers many, many times, but it says I've done under 10, which, I don't know.
Driver ratings. To respect the privacy of riders, your driver rating is unavailable because you have fewer than 10 rated trips.
And that, with a little digging, you get to find out how drivers rated you. Why you're getting that 4.97 rating. I wish you could protest some of these. Because I know where I got that 1-star rating. And it wasn't my fault. No one gave me a 3. They either hated me or loved me.
But I was game. I just wanted to see because my overall rating was like 4.98. And I'm thinking, what the heck? I mean, it's a good rating, but I went in, I saw I had 151 5-star ratings, 3 4 stars, and the 1 3-star really nagged at me. I'm like, what did I do to get 3 stars? Because I really fixated on it. Serina, I really fixated on it. It was like, what in the world happened? Because I'm always conscientious, about getting in and saying, thank you for accepting the ride and being a good passenger in the back seat.
Exactly. Being respectful.
And respectful. And I always rate. Even if I have a bad ride, I will give the driver 5 stars because my whole motto about rideshare is if I arrive alive, it's a 5. That's basically it for me.
There you go.
You know what that makes me think of? So a few years ago, there was a skit on Saturday Night Live, and I definitely want you to Google this later because you will die laughing. Okay. It had Aziz Ansari in it. It's called 5-Star Driver. Uh-huh. And it's both of them, like you hear their internal dialogue. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
They're both like, oh my gosh, I don't want him to rate me low. And it's so funny. And I'm the opposite of you. Like, I don't use Uber a whole lot. So when I look at mine, I'd only had like 3 rides or something on my personal account. Cause when I did use it, I used like my business account. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it's too low for us to tell you because I guess it would give away which drivers did what if that were the case. But you have yours memorized. So you might know who does what immediately.
No.
I have no problem giving a drive. But this is when I was traveling with my service animal. I would have no problem rating a driver low if they were rude to me regarding the service animal and things like that, because I don't want to get matched with them again, which in Miami is probably not as big of a concern. But in Colorado Springs, it was more significant that I would get the same drivers over and over again. Yeah. Charles says I have a knack for getting people fired.
Oh, God, no, Serina, you are hardcore.
I just ask for basic respect. Like, don't make it seem like I'm inconveniencing you because I have my service animal. I feel that that's disrespectful. So
I agree with you 100%. I don't have a guide dog, so I haven't come across those issues. And I had one terrible Uber ride. And this is before I lost my vision completely, because I've been what they call low vision. My vision was like at 20 over 100 since about 2016 when I had to stop driving. And one day I was coming home from the eye doctor of all places. And, my eyes were dilated, and I called Uber and got in the vehicle. And I noticed that we are in the HOV lanes because I'm sitting in the passenger side and I can see like the little sticks going by. They're just like these little red plastic sticks. So I'm trying to communicate to the driver, who didn't speak English, which is no problem. I speak a little bit of Spanish. I tried to communicate with him that we're going to have to get out of the HOV lanes at a certain point, because if we don't, you're going to go past my exit and we're going to go deep into the next county, And so he didn't understand what I was saying. And as I'm sitting back there, I hear my GPS saying, okay, go to the next exit because we've already passed my exit. And then he kind of like looks back at me and I'm kind of like shrug. I'm like, yeah, that was like it. So now we're in this HOV lane, which is going to take us like 12 miles into like the next county.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
And so he realizes his mistake, and what he does, because the HOV lanes here, they just have these plastic sticks that are separating the HOV from the regular lanes. No. Yes. So he zooms out, and I just see like these, because my eyes are dilated, but I have enough visual. I can see like these red poles just going from the windshield all the way back to the back. I'm like, oh my God. So he zooms over to the right. And as soon as we get in that right lane, there's an 18-wheeler barreling towards us who blows on his horn. And so the dude swings back into the left-hand lane, and there are more of these red, sticks just, going up the windshield and back. And then he looks at me and he says, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, just calm down. Just like get me home alive. Eventually he did the same thing again. He went through the sticks and he exited. We were like about 6 miles into the next county. We had to do a turnaround and come back south. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I arrived alive. Barely, but I arrived alive,
So he got 5.
No, Callie, that is not a safe ride at all.
I did not give him 5, so I did not. I gave him like a 4 because I just wanted to see how low I could go before Uber would like pop up and say what was the issue or something like that.
It's a 2, I believe.
No, they actually came up at like a 3. They came up at a 3. And I told them what the issue is, and they needed to refund me the money because I actually went like 12, 13 miles out of my way to get here. And so they did refund me that amount, and they charged me the original cost of the trip. The only thing I did not do was tip the driver. I'm that person. I want people to like me, Serena. I want people to like me.
But and when you rate them low for safety or like something like that, they have ways of looking at the app to see if he did an evasive move like that, and they would have figured out, like they would have seen exactly what he did because they would have saw the swerving.
Yeah. They definitely saw it, and they saw the loop as we got into the next county and had to come back south before he like dropped me off, and I was just like, okay, that was the most interesting ride I've ever had. In a ride share. Jeff, how was your rating?
I didn't really look it up. I did notice I'm not a perfect 5, so I should dive in there.
He's like a 3.5.
Well, I noticed on the App Store, Blindabilities, I go through it once in a while, and I was wondering, it gets always up there, like 4.7, 4.8, and I saw this 3.0 rating, and I thought, why would they give me just 3? Take the time to give me 3. What are they complaining? And it was a positive response. Love the information, listen to you all the time, 3.0.
You know what happened? And I can tell you what happened with that, because there have been times when I've rated apps. Jumps. And I wanted to give them 5 stars. And when I swipe up and I hear 5, but I double tap, it goes back to 3 for some reason.
It's a pain in the butt to rate an app with voiceover.
It's always been a pain.
I have no idea why that happens because I'm giving a great rating, but I can't get it to get to 5 unless I take it off of voiceover and then try with my residual vision to like tap on the 5 stars and then turn voiceover on and see if it's on the 5th star. And then I can write the review and then submit it. But yeah, that's probably what happened with that person because they probably said, screw
it's
it,
really
man.
hard.
I can't get it off of 3. It's like, yeah.
So during the editing process, I decided to verify to see if the Apple Store has improved the ability for people utilizing VoiceOver to rate an app. And sure enough, I'm running the latest beta for iOS, and I was able to give the Blindabilities app a 5-star rating. And if you go to the App Store and find the app that you want to rate, swipe on down to where it says tap to rate, swipe to the right one more time, and then flick up or flick down until it lands on the number of the stars that you want to rate the app. And then just single finger double tap, and you'll hear a verification that they have received your rating. So just like always, on Blindabilities, we always check our facts. Serina, you sent something about a professor that got grant money to work on an app for comic books for blind and visually impaired so they can read them.
Yeah, I that's the second time I've seen that come up. It sounds like that app is actually going to come out over the summer sometime. It'll be interesting to see how they do it because I honestly don't know. Are they going to have like audio description or like how the visuals and things are going to be made accessible? So I'm curious to see. I'm not even that, big of a fan of comic books, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, the National Endowment for Humanities gave them $100,000 to develop this app, and they're going to be testing it, and it should be out in June. I think it's kind of cool because I can't believe when something about Marvel comes up, these random people in my life, they're like, oh, wait, that's not Marvel. That's Disney. That's this. That's Sony. It's like, whoa, like when Spidey, Sony, and Marvel combine. I don't get it all, but some people know every little piece of this little micro world of Marvel. And sorry if I said micro, but I mean, this world of comics. It's huge.
Marvel Universe.
Does Trey pay attention to comic books?
He does. He's the typical boy. He loves superhero stuff. He hasn't watched a lot of the old, because there's a lot of Marvel movies. I think there's like 20 something of them. But yes, he knows who's DC and who's Marvel generally.
Oh, I'm interested in it because I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I don't think this will work for those because those books are huge, but I even see a more important way to use it. Not that comic books is not important, but Jeff, like a couple of years ago when distance learning started happening, I think his name is Simon Bonifant. Mm-hmm. He did a roundtable with some students who were talking about learning, how online learning was affecting them. I think it would be cool for those students who are taking advanced placement biology. I just wonder if it could be utilized in a way that would help them. Because, one of the students that Simon was talking to, I think his name was Callie, was talking about how their TVI has to make these, for biology, she has to redo these, not maps. I don't want to say maps. What is the word I'm looking for, Serina? Like
the structures for the genetics and stuff like the hydrogen.
Yeah. Instead of like bump dots and puffy paint, maybe this could be utilized for educational purposes for students who are low vision or blind to help them with biology, calculus, chemistry, all kinds of things that require diagrams and things like that. So hopefully that will happen.
I like when anything happens in this realm of education and accessibility because the awareness comes. I'm sure when that teacher shows up in the teacher's shack where they have snacks and stuff, what do they call that? The teacher's lounge?
The teacher's lounge?
Yeah, and he's working on...
The shack? Where'd you get that word from?
You've been watching way too much Abbott Elementary.
So when they're all, like on Abbott Elementary, when they're at the lounge or something, and someone says something about his comic book, he says, why don't you do that for geometry? I think the awareness of this will spread. And yes, Abbott Elementary, I watched it the other day, and you guys turned me on to it, and my son had Hulu, so I turned it on. It's a great show. I like it. It's fast-paced. I like that.
I loved it from episode 1. It was just like so fantastic. And I finished the seasons that are currently on Hulu that they've shot, and they are all great. I laughed during every single episode. And Ava, the principal, is one of my favorite characters. And of course, you love Janine, the ingenue teacher here. Love her also. And the one-liners, you know, Serena and Jeff, as you know, they kind of like stick with you. Like one of my favorite lines was in the episode that I watched, I should say late last night, early this morning, was Janine was partnering up with Ava to, God, I've lost my train of thought, Jeff. You're going to have to like edit this. I am so sorry.
Step team?
Yeah, the step team.
I haven't watched it yet, but I know there was an episode about a step team.
Okay. Well, I won't tell you the line then since you haven't seen it, but that one line just had me rolling over once she said it. I was just like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't even Ava who said it.
Come on, say it.
Huh?
Say it. I can't wait.
Well, Janine was
Say
saying,
No, don't say it.
no, okay, I won't.
Jeff, you could go watch it on Hulu like the rest of us.
I won't say it. I won't say it. But I think, Serena, when you hear it, or Jeff, when you hear it, you'll recognize which one
We'll
that I'm
text you
talking
when we
about.
hear it.
Yeah, it just had me rolling on the floor laughing. But it's so cute, and the audio description is very good also.
Well, I text you guys right away. I was 3 minutes into the first show. Well, I missed the first show. I was watching episode 2 by mistake. And all of a sudden, there was this one-liner that came across, and I had to text you. And I was like, I've never heard this before, but it's funny. And yeah, it was pretty hot. Let me say that.
And I think they ad-lib a lot of it too, because some of it is just so natural where you're just like, oh my, you could just tell when like the cast like laughs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, this cast isn't just thrown together. They have a history, and you guys were talking before the show, like, this is from this, that she's from that, this, you know, they all come from somewhere, and you guys know it. So I think they put together a pretty good show here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very good. It's definitely something to lighten your week if you're interested in just something that you can just kick back and just watch and have a good time. And it's family friendly also.
Yeah, it is. It's. I think some of those one-liners will shoot over some people's heads, but it's just like all of a sudden it just makes you turn your head a little bit and go, did they just say that? That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So that's on Hulu and
ABC.
ABC. But I went to ABC and I couldn't get it on the app, on the ABC app, and they pushed me over to, maybe I was watching it through my Apple TV, and that's why they pushed me around.
Yeah, because they're on the ABC app too. And since you are a cable subscriber, you just log in with your cable subscription, but you'd have to watch it with commercials on ABC, and on Hulu you wouldn't have commercials.
And that's a big difference, because on Hulu I'm using my son's account, and every 4 minutes a commercial comes on. It's crazy. And then they have this offer for $12. It's commercial free. I think it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It is.
It is worth it. It's like $14 and some change with tax, and it is definitely worth it. I have that one without commercials, and I have HBO Max without commercials, 'cause I'm just not into the commercial experience, especially when they're not audio described. I'm like, what the heck are they selling to me? It's just like, you know.
You know, they say there's a generational difference on that, where the young people, like, and the young, like millennials and like younger, don't mind the commercials. They don't care. But those of us who like grew up with commercials and fast forwarded through them on our VCRs, we have no tolerance for them.
Yeah. And I think the millennials, the newer generation, they are multitasking. So I don't think their eyes are 100% on the content while they're viewing it.
Oh, yeah. They got their iPhone.
Yeah, they're doing something else. But me, I don't want the commercials. Because like you said, Serena, I grew up in that time, you know, where when I got my first VCR, it was like heaven sent. Because back in the day, I was a hardcore ABC soap opera person, where I would record All My Children, One Life to Live, and General Hospital, all 3 shows.
Oh, Young and the Restless was my jam on CBS. And it was always terrifying when you'd come back and the tape had popped out.
Oh my God.
You're like, oh, did I do it on the wrong setting? Oh no.
You know, so I would get home after work. And so like the only way I was going to get through 3 hours of soaps, you know, and watch primetime television was to fast forward through those commercials. So yeah, so that was like a godsend. And then like, you know, I went to the DVR. And that was like even better.
Until the DVR was like,
just...
you're 99% full. And you're like, no.
Well, here's a spoiler. Coming up on March 14th through the 18th, CSUN in-person event now.
I remember 2 years ago when they were like
Yeah.
right at the height of it. Like,
That was the super spreader.
yeah.
Do you remember everyone that went to that got sick?
I know everyone was scared, like really nervous and anxious that, because
Yeah.
it literally went down right as they were there.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't show up. A lot of vendors boycotted it, not boycotted it, but just didn't show up. And
Yeah.
I guess the people who were there thought it was okay because they got to spend quality time with people that were there. But then they had to fly back. And it was just this haunting thing because it was new to all of us, the COVID. It was really new. And to think to go onto a plane, or lucky they didn't have to all jump on a sea cruise, or something.
Did either of you attend?
Never.
I've never been.
Oh, okay.
It's on my bucket list.
Really?
There's 90 exhibitors on the list right now that I saw that are still on there. You got Envision, with the glasses, they'll be there. Ira will be there. A bunch of other companies. APH will be there. I could go through all 90, but
It's a different time now, though. Like, I feel like even the CDC's, like, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say, like, I haven't worn a mask in a very long time in public, unless it's like at a hospital or something.
where it's probably safer than most places.
Well, it's the hospital. You can catch anything there.
I wear mine at Home Depot, I tell you.
It's been 2 years. I think we're starting to get a little bit exhausted.
Yeah, I'm definitely exhausted, but I still wear my mask when I go out. And at the lighthouse, it is required, which is like, can I just tell you, it's kind of odd that it's required because when we go to the galley for lunch, we have to take off the mask to eat.
Exactly.
And there are like 4 to a table. So there's no social distancing
doesn't
or
matter.
anything like that,
Yeah.
But I generally would take my lunch and go outside to the pavilion and take off my mask and eat outside because I'm just not about the Rona. I'm not.
So you're at an exhibit hall, and at a blind convention, let me just say, an exhibit hall is a touch and feel tour.
Yes.
You're going up, you're checking things out, and everyone's hand is going out to see what they have on the table, and you're investigating. They know that, so they put stuff out there. They put candy dishes out. They put all sorts of stuff. My stuff, when I do a convention, it feels like a fur. It feels like a grizzly bear fur. It's just a piece of fabric of fake, whatever.
Scaring everybody.
No, but a lot of people touch it and they go, wow, what is this? And stuff. Anyways, like I have the candy machines, the woodworking, people grab this stuff and they touch it. Anything and everything is that way at a convention. So here we are, we're just getting out of it. And I was just thinking about that the other day and I was like, I don't know. Gloves? I don't know.
Yeah. As somebody who's never been to CSUN, what is it? Who is it for? Is it for vendors or is it for everyday blind people like myself? Like, what would I get out of going to an event like this? I don't see how it would be beneficial.
It's a combination.
A lot of AT specialists go.
Okay.
And a lot of academia are there talking about like systemically bringing courses to colleges. So the college students who are learning all about teaching and programmers so they can in their curriculum have a course on accessibility. So the people who do get these jobs out there in the real world, when all of a sudden the companies mentions accessibility, they have some reference to it. They've had a course in it. It goes all the way from academia to philosophy to psychology. And then you have the exhibits, of course. And then you're going to have Microsoft's going to be there. Apple doesn't go to those things too much.
I think Amazon's been there before, right?
Yeah, Peter Korn, you'll go there and talk about their accessibility. So there is a mix of it, but like before the main conference, they have a lot of these big workshop breakout groups, and it's where a lot of the academia, people who write books and papers, and they're there. And they do it. Like AFB will be there. American Printing House will be there. They'll give some demonstrations and stuff about their products because they do make a lot of products, along with Humanware and some other groups like that. So it is a very eclectic type of thing. But some people just go for the exhibits and they go in there and it's a cheaper pass.
You can buy a pass just for it. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like anything I would get anything out of.
Well, the exhibit hall is a big deal. Like that's what I would want to go. Think of it from, have you ever heard of the Consumer Electronics Show?
Of course, yeah.
So this is the Consumer Electronics Show for people with disabilities.
Well,
Okay.
That's the best
people
way
with blind and vision impaired. This is the kind of uniquely.
I thought it was for all disabilities.
I don't want to be exclusionary, but I don't know anything about that. The vendors I saw is pretty broad, so it could be for more than what I'm guessing. But for the most part, a lot of people from the blindness community go to these, but it's an expensive convention, though.
Because it's in Cali, California.
If you're going to do it and going from one thing to another, some people stop in and they get a cheaper hotel. So they Uber over and they just go to the exhibits and stuff and then meet up with people. And that's about it. But if you're going to do the full show, it can be expensive. And the hotels are very expensive there too.
Okay. Yeah,
this is
not
NFB
for me.
Or ACB convention.
Are you going, Jeff?
They won't go to this one because it's, I don't know. Is it too early? I don't know.
Well, for me it is. I don't think I'm ready, even though I am going to a Chris Rock show in a couple of months. So we'll see how that one goes too.
This is a couple weeks out. And the main thing here is it's like, I don't know, 2,000 people eating out of the same popcorn bowl. I'm just not ready for that yet.
Yeah, I never could get into that. When you go to a bar and they have like peanuts at the bar and people, I'm like, I'm not digging into that. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's what the exhibit hall is like. There's lots of hands-on stuff, so I'm not ready for that yet. But I'm sure it's going to be good, and I hope people get some stuff. I have Envision. They're coming on tomorrow, do a little chit-chat with them about they're going to it and stuff. I know Ira's going to be there, so there's going to be some good stuff that comes out of it. So I hopefully these companies that haven't had that hands-on contact with the people can get their product and get some good legway, because I'd like to see some of these companies, especially the companies that are making stuff, especially for the blind, succeed.
I agree with you there. That's good.
Pop Culture Roundup, we kind of covered that.
I'm going to see Halsey in July.
Again.
Yay!
I am so excited.
I'm going to see Chris Rock in April, so we got things coming up.
Yeah. So it looks like things are opening up. Masks are coming off. And it's too bad that Apple spent all that time working on the lock screen so you can open it up with a mask on. Well, who knows? Nurses probably like it because they're going to wear that, during a surgery. Right during a surgery when they want to check TikTok, they won't have to punch in their code or anything like that.
What's the patient's blood pressure? Hold on. Let me look at this TikTok first.
And TikTok went from 3 minutes to 10 minutes now. Oh my gosh. Can you watch them dance for that long?
I don't ever go on TikTok. I find it annoying.
Really?
I went on it for 15 minutes one day. I'll never get that 15 minutes back.
It's not super accessible in my opinion either.
It's not.
I find it hard.
It's not, but like my VR instructor, she's totally blind and she uses it without voiceover. She turns it off once she opens the app, and all you have to do is she just scrolls, and if she finds something she likes, she taps on it and it curates her feed to the stuff that she likes. So she actually really enjoys TikTok. I don't have the app on my phone, and because I don't need another social media app to
Is she in her 20s?
She's 32. She's 32.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like you talked about Trey and the superheroes. When my kids were growing up, I couldn't afford another superhero. You get all these figurines. It's just like, I don't have the time for another social media app like TikTok. I went onto it. I go on to Facebook sometimes. What do they got? The Reels?
Which is the same thing.
Yeah. You start flicking through it and all of a sudden, whoa, how much time has gone by? And it's like, you get nowhere with it. And it's like, sure, some stuff is interesting and all that, but what value does it have to me other than entertainment? I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, for me, where I'm at right now, I got enough stuff going on that I just don't have enough space for, I don't know, someone setting up a camera in their hallway and they're just breaking into a dance and
Do you know how long it takes them to film those too? It's not like people think, they just did. Like people who are at the top of TikTok, like plan their stuff meticulously. It's not the way it seems.
Yeah, I know. It's just like us planning this podcast. Look how much hours and hours we gruel.
Oh my goodness. So many hours.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, are you doing a podcast on Tuesday after the Apple event, or you're not?
I'm trying to think, do they ever announce anything really big at the March one, Jeff? I just can't. Maybe the new phone.
It's another virtual one. So I think the show is, you get ratings on the show, the way they present it, the way they do it. I think that's really neat. Like the coffee table with the HomePod Mini sitting on the coffee table. Where are they going to plug it in, right?
It really bothered me.
It did me too.
Serina, I heard that podcast where you were like, this made absolutely no sense. It's sitting in the...
I'll probably forget to watch it. That always happens to me.
Yeah.
You don't plan your 11 o'clock lunch there on the 8th?
Every time that I try, I always predict, because the one that I live for is the September one. And if they change the
Factor.
form factor of the phones, this would be the year that I'd be able to upgrade.
Well, there is one phone that might be coming out, the SE.
And I'm not a fan of the SE. I love not having my home button. I really have gotten used to that now.
Yeah.
Ever since that Pinky article, the smart Pinky, I started noticing the weight and my thumb is starting to hurt. And it's like, I got to stop thinking about it. Mm-hmm. But the phones aren't getting any lighter. So if they come out with a phone this fall, a heavier one, it's got to be heavier. I heard 2 terabytes.
Oh my gosh.
I would never use all that space.
Me neither. But you have the Pro Max, right, Jeff?
Yeah, the 12 Pro Max.
Yeah, I just have the regular 12 Pro. I just can't see myself with a phone that big.
I sent back the 13.
I actually think that I might get the Max this next time because my mom has one. So I looked at it compared to mine. And then I held hers and then I had mine and then mine felt tiny.
Phone envy, iPhone envy, Serina. Come on.
Yeah. Because she was like, it's not that much bigger. And when you put them on top, because mine's a 12, but hers was a 13, but same form factor. It really isn't that much bigger when you put them on top of each other. It's kind of interesting.
Do you remember the iPods with the 32-pin jack?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of those.
That's worth $1,000 now.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah, look it up. People are paying $1,000 for those iPods because people like the classicness of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it still works. I still got some apps on there that are still sitting on there.
Is it the touch or is it the one with the click wheel?
Not the click wheel.
Okay. It's not the touches. It's the click wheel ones that are going for $1,000.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't want to get rid of it anyways. I still got the 32 pin. I remember taking most everything off of it and just shoving music on it because I used it for just like a MP3 player, like when we needed those. But I put it in my hand and my gosh.
They're so thin.
You can almost cover it with your hand, wrapping it around it. Mm-hmm. It's so thin.
Have you touched an iPhone 6 lately? Because we have one just sitting on our drawer because the screen's cracked. And I pick it up every once in a while and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how small and thin this was.
Well, was that the boxy one?
No, it was the first one after. So it was right after the 5, which was kind of boxy.
Yeah.
And then, so this one had the rounded corners, but it was still smaller than the 10. The 6 and the 7 were like that. And then the 8 was boxy, but had the home button.
I picked up my 7. I gave it away. And I really like that size in a sense.
I love the 12 Pros. I love that form factor. It's my favorite since the 4S.
Yeah, the 12 Pro Max is not too much different, but I don't mind it at all. I mean, after a little while, I don't even know. What did I use? It's kind of like a Volvo. It's kind of boxy.
I like the boxiness of it, though. It feels more solid than some of the previous phones felt.
Yeah, I feel like this feels good in my hands. The 12 Pro feels good in my hands. It just doesn't feel like it's going to slide out of my hand. Yeah, I really like it. Hopefully, we'll see what they're going to change with the 14 when that comes out later this year. But I'm hoping for a new MacBook Air in this event on Tuesday, but we'll see what happens.
I really don't know how people fill up a terabyte on their iPhone. I've gotten the 256 for a long time, and I still I don't need that. I could get by with the 128. You know what I mean?
I think it's people who do a lot of mobile gaming because those take up a lot of space on the phone, or when you're traveling, like downloading lots of movies and stuff. Like it's really easy to fill up if you're downloading a lot of episodes and movies and things like that on the phone and not wanting to use your cell service to stream them.
It's just interesting. I just would like to know what I would have to do to fill it and to make sense of having it, because it doesn't make sense right now to me the way I use mine.
Well, we have a challenge. Get one and we'll come up with ways.
We'll find some apps for you.
That'll be our mission, to figure out ways to fill it up for you.
It could be photos and videos too.
Photos, videos.
Because videos add up.
Videos add up.
Set your podcast feed to not delete podcasts after you listen to them.
And then, but it's so hard to delete them when you want to. I hate the Apple Podcast app. It's
no. What you do?
It's horrible.
You go into your storage, go into settings, then
just
go
delete
into
them all right there.
Yeah, just empty it.
The podcast app is notorious for collecting downloads when you don't want it to.
It's really stupid the way they used to do it. You used to have to go back into the settings down to podcast and then go do it from there and set the universal.
And each feed you'd have to set.
Yeah, each feed, whether or not you want it to delete after you listen to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's really annoying.
But I believe if you go into settings and go down to your apps and go to podcast there, you can set the universal thing. So you're setting it universal. But why can't you do that right from the app? You know, that's the thing. And that was the catch.
We've talked about this before. Like my podcast app, no matter how often I listen to podcasts, will never consistently sends out push notifications for new episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. It's
iffy.
Yeah. My Overcast one is doing the same thing now. I don't know what the problem is.
I don't get the badges, but I do get notifications all the time. Every day I get notifications when I wake up about my podcast downloads. Yeah, because
I wish I did. I don't get any.
Really?
No.
I'm getting mine now. It's gotten better.
Yeah, I got one about a Blindabilities podcast that came down today too. So.
And you tweeted it out there. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think there are many people out there following me, Jeff, but I'm like, whatever I can do to help the cause.
Hey, anybody that listens to this or listen to Blindabilities, if you see a tweet out there, retweet it. If you go onto the App Store, if you like it, give us 5 stars. Yeah. I want to thank all of you for listening. It's been great being able to put these Tech Abilities podcasts together for all you. And from all of us here at Tech Abilities, to you, your family and friends, stay well, stay strong, and
stay well, stay informed, and stay strong.
Remember, it's SIG.
No, it's Whiz.
Whiz. Yeah.
Stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. And until next time, bye-bye. I'm going to leave that ending just like we did it.
No.
And then cue our funky music, right?
And for more podcasts with the Blindness Perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at Blindabilities, and give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave us a message and let us know if we can put your voice on the next podcast. Drop us an email at info@blindabilities.com and download the free Blindabilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And from all of us here at Blind Abilities, through these challenging times, to you, your family, and friends, stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. I want to thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.